So, you've still been moving boxes, huh?
Boxes, dollies, emails, trying to.
There you go.
Thank you.
How is it going over there?
Amazing.
Very thankful, yes.
Yep. Wait, you guys have such nice staff.
Oh, thanks.
Like, they were so gracious when they were feeding us and just...
That's super.
People are nice.
Oh, really to hear.
There you go. So welcome to our meeting. I'll just be essentially just presiding the meeting, and we'll have our group talk about it. We're going to try to take about 15 or so minutes to go ahead and just simply present to you what the plan would be, what we would like to propose to you. Obviously, it's just a proposal.
Okay.
And after that, we'll like to open the floor for questions. Okay?
Great.
So, great. So if we're ready, then Amanda, you can go ahead and take it away for us. Thank you.
Thank you guys again so much for having us here today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, no problem. So what we've gathered from you, been talking to you and reviewing your material about this organization, is that the goal of CHS seems to be to serve people in ways in which they can better improve their health by increasing their social capital. However, the question is CHS providing these people with the opportunity to increase their social capital? Well, the best way to determine this is by implementing a plan that will help you to measure out your increased social capital so that we can clearly see how CHS is impacting people's lives. So that is where we come in, the student leader from the Hesselbein Global Academy, and we are here today to provide your organization with a basic action plan that will allow you to see the results of your hard work. So the solution that we came up with are oral surveys, as you can see here, and it's where we will bring in volunteers from different areas, and they will use technological resources to facilitate in these surveys. The surveys will occur on a semi-annual time frame, one in the fall and one in the spring, and they will be conducted right here at the program facility in South Oakland. So the purpose of this is to basically gather baseline information about the people here so that CHS can collect more data in the future, and to access the impact on how this center has affected people's lives. So now I'm going to let Colin take it away and tell you the rest about action.
Okay, great. Tear my heart.
I'm going to quickly tear this apart. I'm going to be talking about the action plan, the way that we figure out how to implement this survey that we wanted to have. Obviously, the first thing that we need to do is have people that are going to be helping with the survey, and is assemble the volunteers. And one way that an easy way to tap into resources or pool of volunteers is always the universities, all students that are willing to do that. Once there is a pool of volunteers, what we want to do is provide those volunteers, which is basic training that they're going to need, just basic communication, being able to talk to people. Having technology, and one of the aspects of the survey is we're going to be providing the surveys orally, and it's not going to be taken on paper and pen. It's going to be more like an interview style. And the way that we want to do that is not necessarily have a formal interview, but more of a casual setting where we're going to be using technology like iPads or something in that area, where we can quickly just ask questions and just tap in without necessarily having to give them a task. Here's a pen and write something. Obviously, that's going to need some training of the specific technology that is going to be used. The second step would be we decided to do a more of a kind of informal interview, casual conversation, because we believe that that will give more of a comfortable setting, comfortable atmosphere where people are going to be able to just kind of interact a little bit more and not feel like they're being analyzed in some sort of way. Just casual conversation. People will be more willing to be open.
And it's another opportunity to create social capital.
Also, in that, when I mean specific survey communication, we're talking about there's going to be several questions that we're not necessarily going to be asking. Some include the sex and the program that they will use, just because you can assume that, and we just quickly get through that. And that will be less questions to ask, and so it will take less time and to be better and more efficient. The second step would be the engagement. Obviously, we want to have these sort of social gatherings when people are having the expectation that we're coming to mingle with people and we're going to talk about it. So we don't want to set this like, we're having a formal thing, sit down and let's talk. No, people are going to be willing to talk anyways. Obviously, in some of the programs that you guys already have, like Smile and Dining and Wednesday Wonders, we want to be there at those locations to provide that. Finally, the software that we want to use that could be provided by the universities themselves that provide the volunteers for different corporations. That software will quickly give us data. I mean, it will just be instant, it will be efficient. We won't have to take much time to kind of translate it. It will just be there. And then that could be used to present to the our organizations and show the cost of like this quantitative thing that we're trying to achieve. And so those are the steps that we go about to implementing this program. Is there any questions? I'm going to talk more in depth about the survey itself.
Okay. So we have a copy of the survey on the back of the machine. Okay, so we based our survey on the holistic approach to social capital that was provided to us in the article that we read about Van der Wagen and Snyder's, the research in the Netherlands. And we basically saw that it consists of four different axes, which would be four different focus areas of social capital. The first one would be personal support social capital, and then professional skill social capital, political and financial social capital, and education-related social capital. So that's how they divided their survey. And this, in the original study, they have tons of questions per category. However, we decided to simplify it and adapt it to a more simple, quick survey here to address the specific needs and considerations of the target participants in the study. So, we chose one question per category as well as the general baseline questions, which we have here. So the service program would be either Smile and Dine, Wednesday Wonders, or Wednesday Social. The age groups are classified accordingly. Both the sex and the service program, we would already infer, we would not have to ask those questions to the participants. The marital status would be asked as well. And finally, the questions that we developed based on the research questions, but adapting them to a specific case here would be, do you have a friend you can depend on in case of an emergency? Do you have a friend who can help you with social services, for example, to register for voting, for insurance? Do you have a friend who completed high school or above? And do you have a friend who can help you around the house with simple jobs around the house? So, and to end the survey, we would like to ask these people, like, how many friends do you have at the moment? Do you consider you have? And finally, are they willing to make new friends? Do you want to make new friends? This is an attitude question. And then we would finish by the final question: would you recommend this program to a friend? Basically, how we propose. And this will provide a framework, work opportunity if this was ever to evolve into a research deeper program. And if you wanted to expand on the different areas of social capital, that could be which ones you guys can improve on, which ones are already very well off. So that's what we propose. Samir?
Thank you. Just before Samir continues, I just want to apologize on the fact that the survey, how I typed it down, because I typed it like really, really quick, omits actually one question.
Jobs around the house one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I apologize. I try to do it as quickly as possible, but but we appreciate your comprehension in that matter. Samir, thank you.
Yeah. I just think we won't only get the capitalized amount, like quantitized amount of social capital. We can benefit much more from this. As an organization, we need to have an audit report. This can provide a big loop for us to get stakeholders involved with our organization. We have a living proof of our quantity, our results, our things which we have done. This is something which would give numbers, statistics, estimates what we have done, and results. Like we as an organization achieved all this. We as an organization, by having semi-annual results, reports and surveys, we had a growth. So there is a comparative study as well which we can show. So by that we can involve stakeholders who can be future partners, future funders and future supporters. By having this survey, we are involving the university students, thereby increasing social capital again. Those students will get in collaboration with your organization, and thereby even your people who are there can meet them, thereby increasing their circle. The students get to have a real-life experience working with you, thereby you're benefiting them as well. So you using this survey will be benefiting everyone in the community, and thereby you will have more opportunity to go for more fundings as well. So this is something which we believe that it can be really a big boom for the organization.
So, in conclusion, we believe that the generation of these studies will really altogether help improve this company, this organization as a whole, and it'll allow the people involved in this organization to better expand their social networks. So that's what we have for you guys. We hope that you guys are able to take from this jumping off point, take what you will from it. You are more than welcome to obviously to use the survey questions or to change it up and add your own, but we're happy to be able to be of some help. And if you guys have any questions, we are here right now.
Thank you so much. Good job, guys. So right now we'd like to fill the floor for questions. So if there's any questions you have about the proposed plan, this would be the time for to fill the questions.
Want to start?
Sure.
Want to start?
So one, my first question to you is, I love the idea of having a casual interview, especially in regards to the folks that we serve, because I think that would allow for a much more genuine process. But my concern is if we're trying to get like hard data, will the casual nature of that process diminish the quantitative aspect of the research?
I don't believe so, because I think that because the questions are so simple, and they just give you a yes or no answer.
Okay.
It's just going to give you the data, regardless. The numbers is going to give you, because it's not going to go into an unability or some sort of statement. It's just going to yes or no.
Just to support actually Juan, I said when we were thinking about this or the processes, we're keeping in mind that we're trying to start as simple as possible. As a matter of fact, if you look at the questioning, you're going to see that, for example, question 6 through, that's a little bit weird, but all the way to 9, all of them are just asking, do you have a friend who you can depend on in an emergency, right? What we're trying to start is basic questions that could lead us to understand, whether they do feel like they have friends or not, but there's room for expansion if you want to get more complex quantitatively. Our concern was, as a group, we were thinking, well, right now as we're starting, and just as we're piloting this and whether it works and whatnot, perhaps in a second version you could have more questions, you can add more things. But for the moment, we're not so much focused on we're trying to get an idea of the quantitative part of things, but we're trying this to be a little bit of a pilot, and then you can ask more questions in order to get rates. Perhaps you can, like, how many? You can ask, do you have a friend who you can depend on the case of the emergency, right? Yes. If yes, how many? And then they start quantifying, well, I could depend. And then you can start looking, depending on which part they're in, what their baseline information is, then we can think, okay, well, this has been the growth, like more people feel like they can depend on more people in case of an emergency, and you can quantify it. But those are things you can add on later.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes.
And you can make it a little bit more scientific.
Okay.
Something that I'd like to add. The simplicity of this gives you an opportunity to have more surveys in a shorter amount of time. Because finishing one survey won't take more than 2 minutes maximum. So you'll have more number of surveys in a day. So thereby you'll have better results, more accuracy.
And so the hope is to, if we were to, let's say we have Kevin. So we interview Kevin now, and we go through these questions, and a lot of them are no to the, do you have somebody that you can rely on? Do you have a friend that can run a house? And so if the answer is no, and then we come back at a later time, 6, 12, 24 months down the road after he's been engaged in these programs, that ideally those questions are going to change to yes. And so we can therefore prove that he's had an increase in those connections.
That's the reason, like when you go to the stakeholders, you have your whole annual report, which is your semi-annual and your end of the year. So that's a comparative study between the statistics. Like this was the stage that time when we started as the baseline, and this is the progress which we have shown. But at the moment, we don't have a base to do the comparative study.
Right.
So the first one would be the baseline, and then the second one would be the comparative study for that. So that shows increase and improvement.
I don't know why. It's this room. There's something in the room. Because it was earlier in this room, and now in this room. It wasn't any other time in the room today. What you were saying about kind of the sub-questions was actually what I was thinking as you were reviewing. You can build in then different levels to each question over time as you get more sophisticated. And I really like the idea of using the university to set up the software protocol. So this is the template in which we put the data, and this is how we run the analyses later on. Because that is something that is not really part of people's day-to-day here, but it's something that we need to be able to do to be able to show results over time.
Your concern could actually be very well responded by Samir, and especially on if you could touch on the fact that the free resources that are available to make it
right now, like for this, even MS Excel can be used as a free resource, which is like spontaneous. You have your file made already. You just need to click and put the data. You go to a person, like if you have even a smartphone, you just need to click in, put the number, click in, yes or no, and it's on spot, and you just save it. And the results are like you just click Control P, you can print the results directly. So it's as easy as a click.
You could also have corporate sponsors provide actual technology, and we're talking about iPhones and stuff that university students already have. They can just use theirs, and you can just be online and you just submit it online and not even have to get the technology.
I'll take some iPads though. We can
Get
And I'm not a part of the team, but I'll share my personal experience. I'm at the University of Kansas, and we have a software system called Student Voice, where we build surveys, and we don't use iPhones, but we use iPods, and it's simple point responses. They dump in, and the results fill out, and you can have it. You can slice it by race, by age. You get bar graphs, pie charts, and all that, which is why I thought, if we have it, I'm sure Pitt has something like that, which would make it a good natural partner and allow for some work for internships or assistantships, some research projects.
And having such kind of collaboration would be benefiting also to find stakeholders to support your organization. Because having an accreditation through PITS would be like something really beneficiary for you.
Absolutely.
You think of, United Way Days of Caring are coming up. Typically people come to your spot and do a physical project, but wouldn't it be interesting if people came to the site and were deployed to do this kind of surveying work and putting in their data and actually really exciting. I just got the phone today from Pitt to request our group, so maybe there's a nice way that we could kind of dovetail and do some work ahead of time and make something like that happen. Perfect timing.
And the first part of the questionnaire, you will see service program. We have 3 services, right? You can modify that as well. We try to make it very simple, so you only focus on the simplest programs you have here, but perhaps you might want to make a different segment. In regards to having quantitative analysis, somebody who will be able to do regression and all those things. I was at Utah University, and I got social behavior credit just to help on that. And a lot of people require that to graduate. So there are people that can do it and want the opportunities, and this is a really good cost. So just
What do you think about incorporating some kind of quality of life questions into the survey? Would it be too much? And I'm thinking that if we want to show the value of social capital, then there needs to be some kind of demonstration that their lives have improved. Because just having more social capital doesn't necessarily show that it's beneficial anyway. So adding those questions, would that be too much for the survey?
No, like questions are dependent upon what do you want as a final goal. What are you looking for and why are you looking for it? Like at the moment we divided the questions into different types of social capital, which already Anna explained. Like you can make changes according to what are you looking for. So thereby, if you're looking for quality of life, yes, you can make changes to the question and then have a comparative study between the two results. So you can compare and you can show like there was an increase, there was a decline. So comparative study can be easily done then.
excellent. We have about probably 3 more minutes, and then we'll wrap up. So, but please, if you have more questions, we're more than willing to answer.
No, I think the university connection is a really smart one. I think it's a project that we have interns coming on in the fall that we could probably work with one of our interns to be a lead to start to try to make those connections and roll something like this out, which would be very cool. I think Canvas would be good.
Yeah.
You know, and if you are a surveyor, and I tell you this because I had to run surveys before, I had to implement, but not necessarily done the research in the back. When you're doing it on paper, it's very depersonalized. But a lot of people that want to do social good, they want to talk with the people and be there present. This will make it a very special experience for them. So it adds to your argument whenever you're approaching students from any university.
And I think the handheld gives you the option to have much more face time with someone as
Yeah.
opposed to if you're writing down and checking. I think it really facilitates that because some people can really touch their screens without even looking at them. So you
And
can
that's
get
the
that.
reason like we have made the questions so that the answers are like either one word or one number. So making it extremely simple so that there's more of communication.
Right.
So even both the parties who are like the one who's taking the survey and one who's giving benefit from it.
And then you could even have a little section at the end for the person who's giving the survey to give any of their impressions that they had. You know, was this person seem particularly shy? Was it difficult to get them to participate? Any of those kind of things, you can always have a note section that just gives you a little bit more of that qualitative information.
It's short, and because it's short, it allows that if you're going to be using labor in order to try to obtain more surveys, since it's short enough and it's very concise, it allows you to be able to get more surveys per labor, so it increases efficiency. You can increase numbers, and that's something it will make it a lot easier for the surveyors.
Great idea. I love the summer. When you walk around and work on different projects. Every year it's just new, fantastic information and input that we really use. We've used every year to build on some kind of project, so it's really super valuable for us. And glad that you came out. We hope that you were treated respectfully and welcomed here.
Definitely.
How it always is.
No, we definitely appreciate the fact you welcome us. We come from so many different regions from the world, but we really believe in the fact that we can make a difference, but really the difference starts in our communities. And for us just to be able to come here and be able to help in the community level and show that leadership can start from here, it's a very valuable experience for us. Thank you for giving us this chance. Really, this is not only you can benefit from some of the ideas, but also we benefit from these sort of opportunities. It definitely has been one of the hallmarks of our experience here in Pittsburgh. So
we're thrilled to have you. And last year, one of our students actually ended up cooking and serving in our Smile and Dine.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
We were short-staffed, and he jumped in and was getting the perspective. Most of the students were in the dining room talking to folks that were eating, and he was getting a perspective from the kitchen on being sort of the other side. And it was pretty fantastic to just see. I walked down, and this person was in the kitchen, kind of looking around. But we were short-staffed, and he just decided to help. And so the students really became, I think, part of the community on that day in a way that we hadn't seen before, which is great. And when you all can go up into the dining room and just be with folks, it just helps us expand our social capital and our experiences of the world, and I think it makes us better people. So thank you for making this commitment to do these projects.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
So what's next for you folks?
Yeah, is there a big reception tonight?
Yeah.
We have a lecture.
And then do you fly out tomorrow?
I do.
Some people do. Some
Yeah. You get a long commute?
Not for me. You let me tell you. Walking over to Myron, oh, it's traffic.
Sometimes it feels like a trap.
That is true.
I'll make sure, by the way, tonight to just make sure that just a survey gets rewarded, just slightly, and then we'll send it to you. Okay, it'll be just very simple, and that way you kind of have without the typos and stuff. So.
Awesome. Do you have your reception this evening? Or
Yeah.
do you have a big
Yeah.
reception?
The awards
And where is that? Is that in some nice restaurant?
Well, it's on campus.
Oh,
Is
okay.
it the O'Hare? Okay.
Oh, that's actually pretty nice. Though.
Yeah,
You
it's
see?
really nice. Yeah, it's actually new, they just opened it up last year.
Oh, okay.
That's what's on.
We went
Yeah.
I couldn't find it.
They clearly did not
have a
take
nice
them out.
venue for it, and the food's usually really great.
Yeah.
We're really lucky because we actually, this is for the most part, it's funded. We actually, some of us, because we're traveling from a lot further, we have to spend a little bit of time, but even do travel reimbursement. And I can tell you, because I've attended many leadership conferences, that really the quality of people that comes here, it's so high that the donors are willing to put a lot of money in the line. So,
Have you done this one before?
no. But we've had, many of us have had friends that have done it before, and they've told us it's been wonderful. So,
It's great for us to actually come to a real life situation and come up with real life solutions which you can actually use.
I know.
Yeah, we really
I'm blown
feel
away by the
happy.
fact that this happens every year.
Yeah.
This is something that we literally take from, and you're only here for a couple hours, and it's wow.
So that's the motivation for us. Like in a few hours, if we can do this much, we need to do more in our own community.
Absolutely. I can't even imagine what you go home and do. But thank you. Did you have any trouble getting here? Do you know how to get back? Are you being
We have a
picked up
van,
or-
yeah,
Okay.
van or a bus picking us up. So, you all need to do last minute potty stops. Okay, clearly
I
I'm
hadn't even thought about the
mom.
potty.
thank you.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
Indeed, thank you.
Sorry, the room is bigger. What's in here?
Yeah.
We should touch base back about this when we
In August?
not this Monday, but next one.
Yeah.
I wish I had like, Liz, do you guys want the papers back?
Sure.
Yeah.
I did need mine, but.
Technology.
And don't forget the camera.
Leave it to me. It's okay, at least you'll always remember me as that great kid.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if that is very